Hey, life's got no shortage of stories, awkward moments, unexpected twists, and those did that really just happen moments. Here on Cat Stories, we've packed a few into every video. My name's Kathleen and let's get into it. And for our next post, am I the idiot H for asking STBX to identify items purchased during the marriage? Throwaway account for anonymity context. Short marriage fivers, second marriage for both, and we are both 50 plus. During this time there was a home purchased and furnished. Both contributed equally to the purchase, however the furnishing primarily fell onto the shoulders of one. Yep, that's me. There wasn't any prior discussion or agreement on how this would occur. It's simply that one of us gets things done and the other drags their feet. No problem. This is often the case in relationships, right? Not always an equal balance. However, there was an unspoken expectation on my part. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Spouse is not a mind reader and my spouse's income is double mine. At the very least I expected some contribution or splitting of the expense, but it was never offered even after the figures were provided. Nonetheless, here we are today working on settlement agreement to divide property in preparation for the divorce, and it is once again left to me to take care of it. Of course I have drafted a list of everything that was purchased during the marriage, but curious if asking STBX to identify what they purchased would make me the AH. If not, would it if I expect to be compensated reimbursed for half or all of the items they want to retain. For the record, the amount spent is not small. If it was I wouldn't bother, but honestly, the lack of financial responsibility and appreciating maintaining caring for property is one of the primary contributors to our marital demise. So, am I the idiot H? And for our next post, am I the idiot for not telling my mom that she should stop interfering with my sister's love life? Edit: I did tell my mom to stop. I wrote the title incorrectly by accidentally adding not in there. Okay, so my sister 18F recently introduced to us my dad, mom, and me her boyfriend, I think 18 or 19, who surprised me because her boyfriend was someone that I knew at school, older than me and kinda close with after being partnered with him for an event. Anyways, I noticed my mom seemed a bit disappointed when my sister introduced her partner, and I later asked her when they left to go somewhere. My mom then explained that she thought my sister would get together with her friend's son, let's call him Jake. Obviously false, but just for more clarity, which I was just confused about, frankly, because that said son already had a girlfriend. Though my mom reasoned that it wasn't like they were married yet, and considering how my sister and Jake had always known each other from childhood and whatnot, I got really annoyed at this because my mom also tried to pair me up with another friend's son, but he and I mutually agreed we had no interest in each other. Anyways, back to what happened. I told my mom that she really should just let my sister be, since she's old enough to do what is right and knows what she deserves. Mom seemed upset with my words and told me that she was only thinking of the best for my sister, but I told her that she should stop trying to interfere with my sister's choices and that what my sister did was her choice. She seemed dissatisfied with my words and stormed off, and I heard her complain to my dad that I was becoming unruly, but it seemed like my dad agreed with me because a few hours after that he gave me a thumbs up. And while I do have some bias with my sister because she's the best, I think that her boyfriend seemed pretty good. Plus, from my experience with him, he was really respectful and never overstepped boundaries. So, am I in the wrong for what I said? And for our next post, am I the idiot for telling my friend she could make her own brownies and then ignoring their messages? So I 18F have some friends. The ones related to the conflict are Aiden, Abby, and Jane. The ones that aren't directly in the conflict but need a name are Rose and Dan. All are assorted 18F or 18M. More relevant context: Aiden and Abby are dating and tend to share the same brain cell as well as fan the other's flames in the sense of causing them to be more angry. So last week I was making brownies for myself. I never bake, so I decided to send a picture of the brownies to my group chat with a bunch of my friends. Abby responded with MMM, I really wish I had brownies. I'm a sarcastic person, so I'm response. I said, why do you think I made them? Dan answered my question like it was literal, so I explained that I was being sarcastic and I meant it as I'm making the brownies because I was brownies too. So Aiden then messages being like, well, are you going to mail her some? I'm currently on the other side of the country, and I said nah, she can bake her own brownies. I didn't feel like it was too much to ask because brownies are pretty easy to make. All of a sudden Aiden was saying that I was being harsh, then Abby joined in saying that I was being rude. I tried to explain that I just felt like brownies weren't that hard to make, and I said that if Aiden wanted her to have brownies so bad then he could make them for her. They got more upset with me for that. Then Abby sends me a message saying that she didn't appreciate how I was treating her Aiden or Dan. Aiden chimes in saying it's rude to bake something and not at least say I would offer you some if you were here. At this point I felt like it was inappropriate to address this in the group chat with what I thought was 5 people that had nothing to do with this. So I chose to not answer the messages and hoped they would message me privately to figure it out. Rose calls me later and tells me that despite saying nothing to me, Jane is also upset. She was telling me that they were talking shit about me in a group chat I'm not in. The thing that made me the most upset was that they were saying things like someone call her so she can't escape it. She's being such an idiot, her boyfriend is influencing her. Obviously it hurt to see this side of my friends. I deleted social media and ignored all their messages. Am I the idiot for this situation? Update: a bit after I posted this I did try to speak with them. However, it didn't go great and they didn't like or listen to what I had to say. It essentially dragged out more of the situation with Dan, to which I countered that how I treat him he's fine with him and I act like siblings in the way of like making jabs at each other, and that if he isn't fine with it he lets me know. I'm still annoyed that they might have thrown away our friendship over brownies. Dan, Rose and 2 others from the group are all still on good terms and are somewhat trying to help diffuse the situation, and all admit it's stupid. So this is snowballing and I'm just gonna ignore them for a while. And for our next post, am I the idiot for charging my adult children rent? I 49F have 2 adult children who both still live at home, Emma 25F and Ian 23M. Their father and I divorced 12 years ago, so it's been the 3 of us for a while now. I had received child support until they turned 18. Their father had paid it willingly, so it wasn't arranged through the courts. This is why he stopped at 18 even though they were both technically still in school. Fast forward to present day. They both work full-time, don't have any debt from school, and both still live at home. I have asked them repeatedly to contribute a set amount each month towards household expenses since I can't continue supporting them forever. Ian doesn't have a problem with this, but Emma thinks it's my responsibility as her mother to support her financially until she's ready to move out. I'm not asking them for much for trying to profit from them. I just want to be able to save for my retirement and be able to retire. I'd be happy with $100 each a week to cover their share of groceries, utilities, and household supplies. I buy all the groceries, laundry detergent, toilet paper, etc. for the house. They are responsible for their cars and related expenses, cell phones, and personal toiletries. Some of my daughter's friends live at home for free, but those friends also live in a home with both parents working. My daughter has actually said she will quit her job and go on social assistance just so she can't afford to pay me rent. So internet strangers, am I the idiot for asking my adult children to pay rent to live at home? And for our next post, am I the idiot for not opening calls from my dad? I was in vacation at my aunt's who were 550 km away from our house, and my dad booked return tickets for both me and my grandma. Due to the fudging restrictions of our country, you can't book a seat next to a female if you're a male. My dad, thinking he'd be economic showing me as a female to the system, he could bypass the rule, or so I thought. I noticed that he uploaded ticket photos to the family group, which includes my aunts, my grandma, and immediate family members. I got mocked a lot by my uncle, and my dad says what matters is your ID, not your gender saved in the system. Then why the heck do we have this system? I'm also thinking he did this for purpose, cause well, I have a round face and long hair. I'm starting to think that I was wanted a girl but failed or something. BTW, I have long hair because short hair makes my head look big AF. And for our next post, am I the idiot for calling out my friend's behavior? I F20 am a college student in a pretty close friend group of 6 girls. One of our friends, P, has been sort of a liability. Every time we go out, P always gets overly drunk, approaches every man, and usually makes out or sleeps with one. I don't mind the former, but then when my friend group and I want to leave said function, she always argues with us, claims whatever man she's with is the love of her life, and says it's okay, we should just leave and she'll stay. I personally just always feel uncomfortable leaving her alone and wished that she would leave with us, because God forbid if anything happened I would feel so guilty and regret it for the rest of my life. I brought this up to my friends when P was not with us and said she's been acting kind of tactless and we need to have a conversation with her. Okay, granted tactless was not a nice word to use, but I digress. My one friend snapped on me and said I was being a bad friend for slut-shaming her, but it is out of my own genuine concern. She is constantly buying Plan B. And I don't know, am I the idiot? And for our next post, am I the idiot for giving up on my best friend? My best friend of 15 years has pretty much quit putting in any and all effort. I understand things change once you have a family, however. Every weekend for almost 2 years me and my husband drove up to see them and their kids. We invited them over for parties countless times that they agreed to, and she would cancel last second and then go do stuff with his family and would tell me so, but expected us to still make trips to see them. She made me her man of honor at her wedding but barely involved me in anything and let her sister-in-law basically take me spot at the wedding. Planning the bridal party, even let her geese steal my speech. At the start of the wedding talk, when we went dress shopping, they dropped me back off at home after and went and had lunch to discuss wedding details. I have never been the person to say after everything I did because I have family that says that me, but I let her move in when her family kicked her out, spent countless, and I mean countless hours helping her through her darkest days. When she got pregnant with her second daughter, I worked for months learning to crochet so I could make a baby blanket. And shortly after giving it to her I found it in her garage being used as an oil rack. So am I the jerk here for finally being done with a clearly one-sided friendship? Alright, that's it for this one. If these stories made you smile or think, hit like and subscribe for more. Oh, and don't forget to share your own stories in the comments. I love hearing them. See you next time. It's Kathleen. See you all later.